I'm Mike Hebert, owner of Cantex Roofing and Construction. Every day is game day, and we'll get it right when it comes to your roofing, construction, windows, and mirrors. Call Cantex Roofing and Construction today. Together, we are one serving you.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Hey, what's good? Happy Thursday. Happy Masters Thursday. Good afternoon and welcome. It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score, 107thescore.com, and the 100.7 The Score mobile app. Brought to you by Happy State Bank. We're watchable on television, Fox 34 News Now, and on YouTube. Check out the Double T Sports Network. If you turn it in on one of those platforms, you'll see Lucas White sitting to my right. I'm Chois Woodman. Clint Scott and his Burley mug will remain off camera until later today.
Mark Burley mug.
Okay.
Do you think someone's cornered the market on Mark Burley mugs? Think that could be a Clint's T-shirt stand thing?
I bet that could find its way to a Clint's T-shirt
Only
stand.
customer
for sure.
would be Jeff McGuire in the building, but I'd sell one.
In the building, sure. I bet there's at least 100 White Sox fans in Chicago you could attack for it. Y'all hit us up. You got thoughts, comments, questions? Bring them all in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line through that 100.7 The Score mobile app. You can even listen in if you're out in Hurt, Virginia. That's your hometown, right?
That's how I feel sometimes. Hurt.
Well, I think, Lucas, you were well known for having a plethora of sports teams you root for.
None of them really any good.
Well, that's the problem. You're walking around like a sad sack sometimes, and a lot of times, because sports teams are like can be like girlfriends. You got too many of them, they're all going to hurt you.
Yeah.
There are very few that you find is the one that you want to marry. And you got all these teams you're rooting for, and most of them are hurting you more than they're making you happy.
I just had to date really weirdos.
You know.
At least I'm loyal.
Loyal,
yeah.
You stretch it out across a lot of teams, but loyal, sure, yeah. How are all your teams doing right now?
O's are bad.
Yeah, what happened there?
Pitching,
still
injuries.
Early.
I know it's still early.
Mets are going to win the World Series.
Hope so. Capitals are doing well. They won their division.
Okay.
Metropolitan, I believe. And then, obviously, we've known since day one that the Wizards are in the Cooper Flag sweepstakes.
Woo!
So they've got a 14% chance.
I don't know. 14% on him not coming back, too. So, is anybody buying that he's going to come back to college? I've seen some people like
Do you
really
believe
thinking
he'll
that's.
come? I mean, they got a good class coming in with the brothers.
Right, and that's where. And then Cooper Flag's little brother, too, right?
Yeah.
So that's where I do wonder, okay, will he actually come back to Duke? Because he wants to play with his brother.
Yeah, of course.
Because he's going to make his money at Duke. This isn't like a matter of, oh, you're not getting anything if you come back. It's a matter of, well, you're not going to get as much as the number one overall pick, but we're still going to pay you $5 million, which is pretty nice, and you're most likely going to be the number one pick in the next draft.
Yes.
So, yeah, I think there's a possibility. I remember when this came up with Josh Young and Jace Young crossing paths.
Mm-hmm.
The question was, would Josh hang for another year to play 1 year with his little brother Jace?
Yes.
But Josh, as we saw, ended up being the 8th overall pick in the draft, and less of a sure thing, obviously, than Cooper Flag. So, I don't know. I guess I could see Cooper Flag coming back another year. Poor Lucas.
If he wasn't the number one overall pick, I would be shocked if he comes back. I don't buy into it.
So you think it's the opposite? I think he's as sure thing as a number one for 2 seasons. If he waits around, and it's not like
I don't disagree.
I mean, he's got $5 million waiting on him at Duke. It's not like it's coming back to just
No, I know.
play school again.
And I agree with you. I also think that he would be the number one pick next year too.
Right.
But still, I think he's just going to the. I think that's been the plan all along. Obviously, like not shocking anyone here. I don't think he's sticking around for the brother.
I don't know. We'll see.
I think the way
I would lean towards
their game ended against Houston kind of hurts him emotionally.
Oh, you don't think that makes him want to come back more and go?
Oh,
to
it does
college?
make him want to come back.
Oh, okay.
More. And, yeah.
So you're saying not, or to go pro?
Yeah.
I'd probably put it at 55-45 that he's going pro, but I don't think it's a lock by any means. I'm sitting here talking myself into 3 different scenarios. I don't know. Y'all hit us up. The thoughts, comments, questions. We got plenty to get into. It is a Masters Thursday, so we'll keep you updated as Luddy is supposed to tee off in about 4 minutes. So we'll keep you apprised of what's going on there. If you're stuck in your cubicle or whatever's going on, we'll get into
Stuck in your cubicle band name. Dips called it.
Okay. I think that's actually a better fellow
Song
American
name.
album name. Yeah.
Who's that?
Who is she? Draft position odds. We'll get into some of that coming up at the bottom of the hour. Luke Barnwell has left Texas Tech officially. That's been, talked about. He's going to coach with the coach that he played for, so I get it. So Texas Tech is hunting for a couple of assistants on the in the basketball ranks. Of course, more portal movement, continued portal movement. We'll continue to get into that. Get Lucas's picks on what he thinks are the best options that could fit Texas Tech out there in the portal. And remember, it doesn't seem like there's much of a limitation when it comes to writing big checks for Texas Tech. We'll talk about the Rangers, their red-hot start. Might even talk some NBA. Goodness, the Mavericks are stupid. We talk about... I think someone on the morning drive texted and said tone deaf. I would put that as a pretty good term for how the Mavericks handled everything last night.
I'm sorry to my Mavs friends. I laughed a lot last night. Like a lot.
I'm watching, I'm like, that video where Luka's crying, and they're showing like all the nicest things about him, like him in a hospital with kids, and him just being cheerful and happy-go-lucky and all this stuff. You're just pouring a whole tub of salt into a wound. For Mavs fans who have not had a chance to, I was hoping you'd play the song. Speaking of Mavs fans, just roll around in it. One of the best songs ever. Good music video, too. It's the bottom line. We'll bring you headlines coming up next on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
A Thursday with the bottom line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. 100.7 The Score mobile app. Brought to you by Happy State Bank. Watch Ball on TV, Fox 34 News Now. However, wherever you're joining us from, we're happy that you've decided to do so. Chois Woodman, Lucas White, joining you from the First United Bank studio. Y'all keep hitting us up if you'd like to do so. Thoughts, comments, questions. Bring them all in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Someone says, Vikey, is it a John Cash day? We went for a who did we have earlier this week?
It was Jerry Reed.
Oh, duh, it was Jerry Reed. I'm like, I knew we had a
legend.
An
legend. All-timer.
We had a Jerry Reed day earlier this week. We can do
I can rock some cash today.
Johnny Cash day. Why not? Why not? It's all happy. Oberg, whatever you want to call him today. He parred the first hole. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. As Ashby would say, Ludwig is on the golf course. He does say golf very uniquely. Golf. Golf? Come on, you produced that show for years, Clint.
I just wanted to see how many different ways you would say it. Golf.
Golf. I don't know. This from the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Isn't it funny that there's a cap on scholarships, but not the money you can give a player? I think we will get a cap on money we can give players. I don't know how much enforcement there will be on it. What do you want to see in the world of college athletics, Lucas? Like where?
I want to get my NIL money that I missed out on when I got to play.
When you rode the pine at Aurora State? Just
University.
Just Aurora University.
Yeah.
Okay.
Rivals of Blue Mountain State, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, what do you want to see? Do you want to see caps? Do you want to see this just completely professionalized? What does it need to get to, in your opinion?
Well, obviously you see the NCAA commercial where less than I don't even know the percentage, but make it professionally and
right.
Other than sports. So if athletes know that they're not going to be going to the next level, I would like them to get some money to try to get their life started. I don't know, millions of dollars is a little, actually it's a lot excessive, but I think they should get money, some revenue, just to kind of get their feet going and kind of know what they want to do with their career and get that ball rolling.
So it's been reported that Texas Tech baseball's number would be $390,000 if they do set this $20.5 million cap limit. $390,000 is not that much among a 27-member team.
Yeah.
Oh, it's more than 27. It's 40-man roster. We'll go with it's a little more than that too. Either way, not a huge division there for everybody to get a big cut. That being said, those baseball players are still paying for a lot of their school.
Yeah, exactly.
So it'd be nice if they could get to the point of not having to pay for their own school because of dumbness of how Title IX still works, trying to even things out when football is not equal to other things. But at the same time, revenue sharing is supposed to be when money's being made off of sports. It's supposed to be your cut off of it.
Yes.
There's only 2 sports out there that make money. 2. There might be some very limited instances. I mean, they just came out with there's an article that shows how Don Staley and South Carolina loses $5 million a year. They lose $5 million a year on their program. But they're fine with that, I guess, because it brings exposure to the university.
Yeah.
So they're spending $5 million on some advertising, I guess. That's how you look at it. I don't know. I don't know where this all goes, but I know there's got to be caps somewhere.
There needs to be.
Has to, because I'm not saying I don't want JT Toppin making $4 million, because that's great with me. If he's going to make $4 million, if that's what the number is, fantastic.
Yeah.
Because he's been awesome for Texas Tech. But there's a reason that every sport except baseball has a salary cap.
Yeah, of course.
Because you want to
get out of control.
Yeah, it can get out of control. People have too much money and they'll throw that money around. I mean, Juan Soto has a egregiously enormous contract.
Yes.
Because there's no salary cap in baseball.
And Vlad Guerrero Jr. now has
yeah, he's got a huge one. I don't want restrictions like we have in the NFL. I think the NFL has too tight of a salary cap. And I say that as a Dallas Cowboys fan because
of course.
if it was looser, then the Cowboys could do a lot better. And we have a 80-something-year-old owner that can't handle money well.
Yeah, if you had somebody else that knew how to play with a tight cap,
And
like
not just
I don't
give
know,
it all
like
to a
maybe like
quarterback.
the Eagles organization, who also had a bad,
Yeah.
cap position and won a Super Bowl. So just throwing that out there.
You know what? I still would like to see, like, the NFL has a tight cap, yet they make more money than anybody else. I'd like to see more of that shared with the players. So I don't want nothing, or I don't want no cap at all, but I think there's a middle ground. The NBA, as much as I don't like it, they probably have the salary cap
Figured out.
better than anybody else.
Of course.
Better than anybody else. All right, y'all keep hitting us up on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Someone says, Choice, why is the Tech baseball team terrible? How do you get run ruled against the team in Albuquerque? Run rules in Albuquerque are not, I mean, big scoring games and run rules in Albuquerque are not a new thing. I get your point. I get the frustration, the question, but Tech has struggled this year. There's no question about it. Run rules in Albuquerque are just whatever, because that place, that location, that team is always offensive. It's just it's something that happens even when you've had good teams there, but that's not necessarily the case this time. Choice, please don't request the death of any NFL owner today. I haven't requested. I have not put in for anybody to kick the bucket today. But Bullfighter says Juan Soto makes $1,234 every 37 seconds. Is that an accurate statement? Is that real?
Got to be pretty close.
Have you asked him to share it with the fans a little bit?
I bet a lot of people will become Mets fans then.
It'd be funny if he was like, all right, 100 lucky Mets fans out there.
He just turns into like a Mets Mr. Beast.
Yeah.
Like, I locked 2 Mets fans in a room.
I am giving you $5,000, 100 lucky.
If they could last
Mets
30
fans.
days watching White Sox games only, they'll get $100,000 each.
But then Lucas shows up in an Orioles shirt. He's like, dang it, forgot my Mets gear today. The Orioles are actually my real team, but I really am a Mets fan. Orioles are number one for
Have
you.
you thought
Yes.
about a Morioles jersey?
Ooh. As a Mets fan, secondary Mets fan, do you root for DeGrom to do well with the Rangers?
No.
Why? It's not like he got traded, or he just went in free agency.
I know. But it's the same with Scherzer. I was not.
You didn't root for Scherzer either?
No. My mom liked Scherzer when he was on the Nationals.
Dude's got
so,
some crazy eyes.
I know.
All right. Keep the thoughts, the comments coming in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. We will dive into Kaylee's Dailies coming up next on 100.7 The Score.
Getting to the point, but taking the scenic route to get there. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
I don't get it. Most people don't get this show. It's the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. 100.7 The Score mobile app, powered by Happy State Bank, and on YouTube, if you want to watch us there. Double T Sports Network. That's all you got to search out in the bar. Hit the subscribe button, like button. Makes it easy to find us anytime, anywhere. Jamie Lint joins us in the First United Bank studio. I'm Chois Woodman. Clint Scott across the way taking care of us. You can also hit us up if you want to. Thoughts, comments, questions, Anything welcome on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Take that app anywhere with you. Even listening out in Smart, Tennessee. Okay, what's the Olympic music for?
Oh, it's on the chat line.
Oh, okay.
I believe there's a new nickname that has passed with that song being played. Or an old nickname, I guess. Then I think you started. I believe somebody else has the butt-face name now.
Oh, okay. Who is it? Is it Jamie?
Don't think that would be necessary.
I didn't say. I was just asking a question.
Why would you ask his name first?
Because you said someone new, and he was the closest person to me. That's all. Here's a random question to start off the second hour. Who did you pick to play as in Tony Hawk Pro Skater back in the day? Jamie, on that video game, which character did you go with?
I played sports, not video games.
There's never been a more. Hey, Luddy just chipped in.
Luddy.
Yeah, that's an approved nickname.
Okay.
A lot of people call him
That's
that on
a
the
heck
tour.
of a shot, I'll say that much.
Yeah, he chipped it in for birdie. So he has one under par now. They had his score wrong for a second on the TV, so I thought he had already gone one under. But one under now.
You sound like that radio guy who calls baseball games without really paying attention to the balls and strikes, and the scoreboard gets it wrong, and so you get it wrong too, and you're like, they were wrong on the scoreboard.
I think that sounds pretty bad. So I usually, if I screw it up, I will not blame the scoreboard because I admittedly have relied on the scoreboard at times.
Everybody does.
We all do, but if I get the count,
but you're
wrong,
allowed to just count it yourself. Too.
Yeah, because usually I do. I'm marking it in my book most of the time. But if I, get sidetracked or something by
Unless you have an ump with the worst strike call of all time,
oh
and
my
it's
gosh,
like there's no motion to it, and even you're like, okay, he's holding up a 2. All right, full count. It was a strike.
What's worse, that a ump that is not clear, or an ump that has like a 3-second delay call? Because that's what, like, as a broadcaster, that's super frustrating. Because you see one down the middle and you think, okay, that's a strike, and then you're waiting.
You kind of become like the hitter and the pitcher. You just have to be patient.
It's just
You just know it's going to take a minute here.
Yeah. You have to. It takes a couple innings to adjust to that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Hey, did you see your guy Luka had a night last night?
Okay.
45 points.
That's a pretty good night.
Not too bad. They played this fancy video for him before the game.
Okay.
Have you seen said video?
I have not.
I'd say it's worth watching a little bit. Basically, what's in this video is everything that makes Luka Doncic look like the nicest guy ever and a saint. It's got him starting as him getting drafted, young Luka, all this happy-go-lucky Luka that's, in practice just tossing in hook shots and having a ton of fun. It's got him in a children's hospital. It's like makes him look like the best guy ever, which is great. Seemingly how he was in Dallas, a very happy guy that was a fun teammate to be around. That's what it seems like. So they have this video that's a tribute to him, and almost all reaction I've seen from Mavs fans is that this was the biggest slap in the face ever to show this video before, even though you're giving a tribute to Luka. We see these tribute videos all the time, especially in the NBA now. Most of the time it's the next season, though. I don't know that we've seen an instance where it's been the same season where you traded a guy away and then give that tribute video.
So this morning, I think it was on the chat line that somebody said about said video that it was the most tone-deaf thing that they'd ever seen.
I was listening, and I actually brought that up earlier because I thought tone-deaf was a great way to put it.
So I just, in the 30 seconds of my mind that I felt like it deserved, I thought to myself, what should the Mavericks have done? Okay?
I don't
know.
So
if you don't do anything, well, that's a different story. Okay? If you don't do anything, to me, that's tone deaf.
I think you could post a a thank you, Luka, with his picture up there, and that would have been sufficient for this moment, to not stoke the fire.
Well, to be fair, it's not like Nico Harrison made the video. The guys who made the video probably also did not want Luka to leave Dallas.
And that's probably honestly what I think happened. It's guys that hated the trade that are in the video department.
Yeah, but they're not going to do anything that the organization is not approving.
I don't know that there's anybody that works in that organization that likes Nico Harrison right now. I'm not sure. Seriously, I've not.
If I was Nico Harrison and I thought the video department made this video to try to make me look bad, I would fire every one of them.
And they might be today. I don't know.
I just asked myself, what exactly should the Mavs have done? They're kind of in a hard spot here, right?
They are.
The Mavericks is an organization. You can't just ignore it and don't do anything.
I think you could have posted a photo. And it says, thank you, Luka, as he's being introduced.
And then announce the firing of Nico Harrison as of right now, end of the video.
Just a video or just a picture, thank you, Luka, to me seems like he deserved more.
I don't know. You traded him away in season. This is still fresh. Anyway, with all this, Jamie, someone asked Jason Kidd about this trade at the press conference. We'll get to that coming up in just a moment. But someone asks him about this, and the tone deaf thing, coming back around to that, his answer might be one of the most tone deaf things I've ever heard. It's like no one gets it inside of that organization.
Yeah, it really feels like, the more that you dove into it right after it happened, that this was 100% Nico Harrison, and that Jason Kidd didn't know about it until right there towards the finish line. And I don't know. Harrison definitely is public enemy number one. There's no question about it. I just go back to where I think there's two things, and I said this morning. There's two explanations for me of why Harrison did this. Number one, he's Jerry Jones Jr. He wants to prove to the world that I'm smarter than everybody else. I'm dealing with so much more brain power than you are, and so I'm going to go against the grain, and just to show you I don't just follow you people, I do these things on my own, and I'm ahead of the curve. Or number two, that organization and him, they were so fed up with begging Luka to get himself into shape so he could stay healthy and stay on the court and be a good teammate. And they were so fed up with him not doing that. So it's one of those two things. I don't know enough about it to know which one it was, but it feels like it's probably a little bit of both.
Probably. Y'all bring in more of your thoughts. We'll play that clip from Jason Kidd coming up. It is the bottom line on 100.7 The Score.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
It's a Thursday with the bottom line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. 100.7 The Score mobile app, powered by Happy State Bank, alongside Jamie Lent. I'm Chois Woodman. Y'all can keep hitting us up if you'd like to do so on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Get back to some more of that in a moment. First, we did have those comments from Jason Kidd, Jamie, and this whole tone deaf thing. I like that term because it does seem to fit the Mavericks situation. Jason Kidd got asked a question about the trade, and I honestly don't know if this was after the game. I think it was before the game. But either way, it was very interesting to hear his comments.
This is a business. It happens, right? Trades happen. This won't be the last trade. Some are comparing it to Babe Ruth, which is kind of cool.
Is there anything more tone deaf than that? You know you're the Red Sox, right? making this Babe Ruth trade?
Yeah, that was interesting.
That's kind of cool. We're getting compared to Babe Ruth. You know, there was a 80-something year curse that went along with that. Whew. That, man. If I'm a Mavs fan, I'm so bent out of shape right now. But
yeah, I get it, and obviously it doesn't help that AD got hurt right after.
Right. I mean,
and
immediately.
And then Kyrie also got hurt, so things are not great in your world right now. It's not helping the situation.
Someone says he's still a liability on defense. He'll stick out in the playoffs. He is, but he helped get him to the finals last year, so
it just blows me away. I watched a lot of the playoffs last year because, it just, once the Mavs got to the Western Conference Finals, it felt like I tuned in for every game in both the Western Conference Finals and the Finals, and it's just crazy to me how little effort he makes at the defensive end of the floor.
Yeah, because most guys, at least most of the guys that don't play defense in the regular season have some sort of switch where they turn it on in the playoffs, right? We see that a lot in the NBA.
He just looked like he had no interest.
He's like, I don't play defense.
This
is not in my contract.
I do not have to do this. It's not what I signed up for. And in the playoffs, that matters.
This from the chat line, and there goes Kyla Freelon into the portal. Didn't this already happen? Or was this yesterday?
I know we talked about it this morning.
I think this was yesterday.
I think it happened this morning.
Did it? Okay.
Yeah.
I'm looking. Talia Goodman. Yeah, she reported it yesterday on 3 Sports.
All right.
But I don't think I'm not saying anything except I don't think you're just super upset about that one. Got to go find some offense in the portal if you're.
Yeah,
the Lady
she's
Raiders.
a good player. I would have loved to have had her back. She played well at the end of the season.
Right.
She didn't get a ton of minutes early on in the year, but then it kind of finished strong and played a lot more at the end. The sad part is now you had this great core of those 3 players together and Bailey Maupin and Freelon and Jasmine Shavers, and now 2 of them are in the portal, so you just hate seeing that.
Yep. This one says keeping score in baseball is hard, especially when the ump isn't vocal. Can be, sure.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Happy National Siblings Day, Jimmy.
National Siblings. Thank you.
Thanks,
bruh.
How do you feel like about your siblings? Sibling. Right?
Sibling, yeah. I hope
y'all are good now?
We've never been bad. I mean, we're not like uber tight, but.
I know. I remember you telling a story about maybe you
locking
him out of the trailer.
Yeah. Yeah. I once went after him with an oar.
Mm-hmm. That's not ideal.
Chois went after his siblings with some ands.
Okay.
Still don't understand why our TV just decides to just quit on us and randomly. I think it's the same time every day.
It gets tired. It's the same
it's
time.
Like I am
done
afternoon. Working for you guys. I'm sitting there watching the Masters and bam. Well, maybe it's just because Oberg just bogeyed. So
I think that's what it is.
It got mad at that and shut it off.
Maybe it's a fan of tennis and you had golf on instead.
You think that's it? You've trained the TV, huh, Jamie?
I didn't tell you, Jamie.
It's actually pickleball TV.
Pickleball TV.
We went out to go watch the national championship game.
Where is this going?
And it was a place with several TV screens. You're a very basic kind of sports bar setup. And we were cracking up because there was one TV screen in the middle of everything, what I would say the central screen. Now, this was pregame stuff, but it was on pickleball for like 35 minutes. It got changed right before the game went on. And so we just started to look around just for fun to see if anyone was like, come on, I was watching that.
Nice.
Super fun.
National Siblings Day. Here's some quick stats on siblings. 33% of people with siblings think their mom has a favorite child. Does yours?
I don't think that.
Okay.
My brother would probably say it's me, but
Only 22% think their dad does.
okay.
You're the younger one, right?
Yes, my brother is older.
Right. So that means, you're the favorite. Babies are typically the...
Yeah, I would guess that would be the case.
My sister, in the hierarchy of the five of us, it's my sister, then me.
Oh, really?
The
You're
favorite
second on the list?
Yeah, I'm second.
Okay, good for you.
And I said, it's just because we both live outside of town. The other two live in town, and Mom gets to see them, so we get the special treatment. Most of us don't think we're the favorite. Only 30% said yes. 19% said...
How much of us think we should be the favorite, though?
Oh, all of us.
100? Yeah.
Yeah. 19% said they think we're completely different from our siblings.
Man, there's not a lot about my brother and I that's the same.
Is he taller?
He's definitely taller.
Like 6 foot?
He's like 6'3".
Holy cow.
300. Yeah, he's a big guy.
Did you learn about the mailman, Jamie? Was your dad big?
My dad's, he was 6, I don't know, probably 6'1" or 6'2", so
Okay.
he was a little bit bigger too. But he wasn't as large. My brother's square.
So kids, when your parents say if you don't eat healthy as a kid, then you won't grow, then that's Jamie's the example of that. Because he was supposed to be 6 foot.
That Mountain Dew stunts growth.
Mountain Dew stunts the growth.
So I'm unhealthy, but he's healthy.
Oh, I never said healthy.
Hey, he's in offensive guard shape, pal.
Round is a shape, Jamie.
Yeah.
I hope he's not listening. I'd feel bad. 10% would describe a sibling as their best friend. Okay.
It's cool.
Okay.
I think my daughters would say that about each other.
8% have had a serious physical fight with a sibling before.
Oh, goodness, yes. Only 8%?
There's a bunch of weenies out there nowadays, Jamie.
Okay.
Oh.
Well, let me ask you this.
Yeah, he's got a sister.
I've got 2 older sisters. We've never been in an all-out, drag-out brawl, but she has thrown several things at me, including a full bowl of ramen. Does that count?
Was it hot?
I feel like that
it was
counts.
fresh.
It was hot.
I dodged it.
I feel like it counts.
I think punches have to be thrown. I don't know.
I don't know.
Okay.
That could have scalded me.
I know.
If she had a better arm,
Maybe.
loser.
I don't know. My brothers and I, we always, hit each other and that sort of thing. But only one time ever can I remember my brother, my oldest brother, and me getting in a legit fight, like throwing punches. And we were both adults too. So we were out of the house. And it was on the back porch, and Mom ended up hurting us worse because we are throwing punches on the back porch, nothing in the face. But Mom comes out there, and she starts going ballistic. She starts hitting us, in the face and stuff, just, throwing haymakers everywhere to try to break us up. And then we're shocked
What
at
a
it.
family.
We're shocked
the
at
mom's
it.
got a chair. The mom's got a chair.
We were like, what is going on? Mom, we had to yell at her to make her stop because she lost it in that moment. It was
it
made us stop, though.
Bringing you the truth, or something like the truth. This is the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score.
Thanks for hanging with us on a Thursday. It is the Bottom Line on 100.7 The Score and 107thescore.com. 100.7 The Score mobile app, brought to you by Happy State Bank. Alongside Jamie Lint, I'm Chois Woodman. Y'all continue to chime in on the Yates Flooring Center chat line. Get back to a few of those thoughts shortly, but right now, Jamie's got the question.
Time now for Jamie's question of the day on 100.7 The Score. Presented by Connecticut of West Texas. Life's hard, your water shouldn't be.
So Tuesday morning, I asked a question on the morning drive. To which I got a text from Chois saying, you should have saved that question for me.
I promise you, I don't even remember what it was. I've forgotten already.
So I told Chois I would ask you the same question.
Okay.
I believe I remember the question. That was 2.5 days ago.
I don't remember it. So, okay.
Okay. I believe the question was, which position group for the Red Raiders coming up this upcoming season is the one that you feel like you still have some concern for, despite all the additions and all the different, guys that you've brought in and your upgrades and all the above, all the money that's been spent. Which position group are you still nervous about, or the most nervous about? Maybe you have many. What's the one you're the most nervous about?
I liked your question this morning too, but I can't remember it. I just remember I liked it. Position group that I'm the most concerned about, I think it's gone away. Or the one that was at the top of the list is not a concern, or definitely not near the top anymore. And that was pass rusher. And I think that's probably the reason you brought the question up, because
I think that was right.
David Bailey comes in as the highest graded pass rusher there was. And it's not sack rate, but just pressure rate. And what happens with those pressures, you can get
sometimes
bad throws.
It's better than a sack.
Yeah, you get bad throws, you get bad decisions or quicker throws, whatever. His pressure rate was as good as anybody in the country last year. So pairing two good defensive ends with each other is where I'm confident. And you still have a lot of pretty good pieces that were young pass rushers that we haven't got to see a whole lot from because of injury. And Joe Adedire and some of those guys. So that's where that used to be it. I think my answer at this point would go to one that maybe isn't on a lot of people's radar, but receiver or pass catching.
Okay, didn't expect that one.
You lost a lot of production out of pass catching last year. I think your front line of receivers is pretty darn good. I still don't know about Reggie Virgil. I think he's going to be good, but we've seen a lot of guys that we thought from the lower level Power 5 football, the lower level FBS football, we thought they'd be good, but then they end up being okay. Dre McCray, when he came here, I thought he was going to be a lot more than what you got out of Dre McCray. We've seen that happen a few times. So pass catcher, in terms of just returning production, I'm concerned about. Because Jalen Conyers was one of your biggest weapons last year. You lose him. Mason Tharp's gone. You obviously lose Josh Kelly, who was enormous for you. Over 1,000 yards. He was your third down machine last year. So pass catcher's up there. If I was going more generic, I would say offensive line until we see something different, but I was trying to be a little different with it.
Clint, do you remember the question?
So many hours ago.
I feel like you guys judge me too much.
Well, we got 30 seconds left of the segment. How about that? Quick answer. I'm going to say this concern feels too strong for my feeling for it, but if you said most concern, which I guess is how you put it, then I guess it's fitting. I feel like you vastly improved the secondary and have some guys you're looking at making some next steps that were younger guys that played last year. You also have a new defensive coordinator that you're working with. You have all of these new pieces, and I think that entire unit, defensive backs, safeties, everybody will be better than what they were last year. That being said, I think it caught all of us off guard just how bad that unit was. That was not on my radar. I didn't think you would have just these major all Big 12 guys across the board, but I also didn't think it would be a wet paper towel at times. So it's almost it's not even, I'm ready to be proven wrong or anything like that. It's just I'm still a little gun shy just from how shocked I was last year, but still expecting that unit to be better. But still in the back of my mind, it was going, yeah, but you didn't think it was going to be that bad last year. Mm-hmm. And I just say, shut up, voice. Football's fun.
Zero fun, sir.
All right, so 2 areas for me. Choice, you mentioned it, but said you were going to stay away from it. I'm going to go offensive line. Not that they were terrible the last 2 years, but I just is potential for you to be really, really good. You've got to be able to run the ball in short yardage situations, and you haven't been great in those situations in recent years. So I'd really love to see an improvement there. The other one that I have in my mind, I know we're only asking for one answer here, but I'll just throw this out as my 1B, is the kicker. Just because you're breaking in a new kicker.
Yeah.
And just who knows how that's going to go.
So
Chuck's ears are burning right now.
Yeah, I know.
You still have a kicker on the roster to my knowledge, but he's had very little experience last year. He was a younger guy in Stone Harrington. I think he's still on the roster. I haven't looked. He was.
If you don't know if he's on the roster or not, you can't have a whole lot of confidence in him.
I don't know if he's on the roster, and it's hard to keep up with a transfer portal. I can't remember. I don't believe he left. Harrington is a guy that your special teams coach, Kenny Perry,
he is
said,
on the roster.
He is. Okay. He's a guy that he says he's got more talent than both, or more talent. I just mixed up potential and talent.
He, as a kicker, he's got more patella tendons than anyone we've ever coached.
Gosh dang. I just make up words every day. But I'm not going to lie to you like that guy on the morning drive and say, oh, everybody says that. Talent.
You say potato, Choice says talent.
He's got, anyway, Kenny Perry said that this guy has more potential or maybe even more talent than either of the 2 kickers you had on the roster last year. It's between the ears, and can he get that going? Which is not what anybody wants to hear for a kicker.
Gino made 19 out of 20 last year, so to have more talent, he must have he must be able
Let's let this one go.
Have a bigger leg, right?
He has a huge leg. That's what it is.
Just one, though?
I don't know. I haven't measured the other one.
Does he walk funny?
One doesn't have as much talent in it.
I don't like you guys. So, yeah, I get the concern, Jamie. Anytime you're breaking in a new kicker, heck, we were all concerned like crazy going into the season, and it ended up being great
because of Kenny Perry.
Yeah, so maybe I shouldn't listen to what he says.
Yeah.
After last year, I think offensive line is interesting. What was yours pass rush prior to the addition of David Bailey?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, it probably would have been second still behind offensive line.
Okay. I think David Bailey and Romello Height and your interior linemen that you've all added, and maybe some young talent that gets to contribute this year.
It feels like your defensive line may be a strength now.
It should be. I think on paper it should be. Now we'll see. But I'd almost argue your offensive line should be a strength this year. I mean, some of those guys that you've brought in are enormous human beings that have good track records elsewhere. The Zambrano kid was as high of a portal guy as you could get. Sampson is 6'8" and 1,000,000 pounds.
Yeah, just until you see him do it at this level.
He was in North Carolina as a starter last year.
Yeah.
Zambrano came from
That's the
Illinois
guy
State.
I'm thinking of, Illinois State, right?
Yeah. So it's a mixed bag. But you need to, should be, Jamie's favorite phrase, better on offensive line. But I feel like we have said that a whole lot in recent years. And you've had where we thought you were maybe going to get a strength on offensive line, ended up with average offensive lines.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think that's fair to say.
It does feel, though, this year they're more talented than other years.
It's the bottom line.
This has been the Bottom Line Podcast from 100.7 The Score. Go to 100-7thescore.com for more from the Double T Sports Network.